Ain't chasing her name, I'm stacking my paper, ain't playing no game. These dreams on my ladder, I'm climbing so high. No ties, no lies, just cash in my sky. I need money all day, I stay lit on the grind. The world spins fast, but I'm out of my mind. I'm stuck in this hustle, it's my only creed. No love, no trust, just the life that I lead. Yeah. Late nights, no rest, I'm chasing the glow. Heart cold like ice, but my fire still shows.
This is F.A.C.E Productions, Focus Authority, Creating Excellence. I'm here with a friend that I met on, what street are we on?
We are on Orchard right now.
Orchard, okay.
Yep, 21st and Orchard.
21st and Orchard, cool. So if you don't mind introducing yourself.
My name is McKenzie. How's it going, y'all?
Okay, McKenzie, how's it going? So I'm normally interviewing girls on Greenfield and Lincoln, and I guess
That's pretty much just Greenfield. You got me out Greenfield actually, right. So but you're in the right direction over here. So
so you pretty much know about what type of hustling goes on Greenfield and over here, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So would you say that is that primarily how you earn income as well, from hustling some of these streets over here?
Mostly it was, for the most part. Actually, I just recently met a guy who's definitely tamed me down on that level. So, okay. Yeah, it's actually nice to be able to find somebody who actually doesn't want you out here doing all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So, I'm gradually getting away from that. On top of that, both of us are actually trying to get ourselves together and get back to my family and family back home. I actually just recently found out I have a missing persons alert out there that my family just threw out there. Wow. And it made me completely emotionally ill the last a week and a half that I found out, to the point where I still haven't even been able to contact going home yet. And I'm like, I don't even understand why it's so hard for me to do, because I used to always get so freaking homesick. Right. That I don't understand why it's so hard for me. I feel like I'm more embarrassed, or I feel like a POS. I feel like a piece of shit mom right now, leaving my kids. I never thought in a million years I would ever leave my kids. Of course not. Long story short, I had a lot of traumatic events that had led me here. 3 very, very huge traumatic events that happened to me that have led me back into the drug life and street life. Yeah. I mean, I used to live in Detroit. I never knew ever for my whole life. I'm from Upper Michigan, right, which is about 4 hours away from here. I never even knew this shit went on over here. Wow. I had no clue. Okay. I met some guy online on Facebook, not the guy I'm with, but I met some guy online. I was actually living in Green Bay, Wisconsin at the time, and I had a decent life, you know what I mean? I had, my own place, my own car. I had managing bars, I refinished floors and furniture, had my own job, business doing that. I had my own business bartending weddings. I made great money. I worked at Harley Davidson out there, doing weddings out there. Couple different spots, you know what I mean? And when I had gotten invited to come out here, the guy, we immediately did not click at all. He was completely different from what he was. He was like one of them catfishers. I swear to God he was. Okay. But I had met other people in the process, and I remember this couple that picked me up, and they were all like, "Oh, well, do you want to work?" And I was like, "What do you mean by work?" And they were trying to tell me all this. I was like, "Y'all do that over here? Like, what?" Yeah. And it was almost to the point where I looked down and I was just like, so that's your man? You don't care that your woman's out here doing that? Right. You don't even give a shit. You know what I mean? And it was just crazy to me. And I was like, this stuff really goes on here. I thought this was something in other countries or Vegas. Right. You know what I mean? I never knew. And like I said, I lived in Detroit, in Flint area. I went to Baker College in Flint my first year of college. And I mean, obviously, I'm about to turn 40, and that was when I was 19, you know what I mean? But I never even heard of anything like that going on out there. And I tell you what, in the almost 3 years that I've been out here in Milwaukee, I have had the worst experiences out here than I even had in Flint or Detroit, which by all means too, I also wasn't here on the same level as I was there. I was there going to college straight out of, straight out of high school. Yes, I did still do drugs. I actually got introduced into cocaine and selling cocaine actually at that time, but I wasn't hardcore into it like I am now, actually doing drugs. And I wasn't doing anything like this by any means. Like I said, I didn't even know this shit went on around here. So it's just amazing to me. I apologize because I'm making your question extend very, very long here, but I'm trying to give you a little bit of an understanding.
The viewers appreciate that.
Right, you know what I mean? And I will tell you right now, I do talk a lot, so if I get a little overboard, just tell me to shut up. Shut up, because I will keep going and going to the point where you're like, all right, you've extended your video, now you have to pay me. I'm just kidding.
I get it. So you did say you were 29, I guess, going on 30. You said you're 30.
I'm 39 going on 40. Yeah,
40.
December I turned 40. Yep, believe it or not. A lot of people, it's funny because a lot of people don't believe me when I tell them that, but I tell them it's because I'm immature as all hell. It's probably what it is. I'm really not too immature. Like, I can be very on top of my shit and focused, but humorous and my sarcasm and stuff. A lot of people don't know how to take me, especially out here. It took people a long time to understand the type of person I am, that I'm very humorous and stuff like that, and that I like to joke around, which a lot of people don't take lightly here at all. Like, I've even had my ass kicked for just saying the wrong word or the wrong thing, you know what I mean? I've never in a million years ever gotten beat up or anything. And I tell you what, when they say that you see stars, you see freaking stars when you get hit in the head many times like that. So I've had some really traumatic experiences like that, I tell you what, because it's no joke out here. It really is. And a lot of people are like, oh, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, people think more country life and stuff like that. At least that's what I thought of at first, especially even coming from Upper Michigan, which is total country life. You know what I mean? We don't see this shit out here, and the only thing that I would say is different between here and there is, and I know that wasn't a question or anything, is I always tell people, the only thing that would have me more scared over there than over here is I would rather get hit or shot by a Glock than I would with a shotgun. That's the only difference. And that's another thing. I have been shot out here too, and it was not intentional. It was a very kind of, in a way, a freak accident because of the two spots that I was shot at, but at the fact that I wasn't even like somebody that they were looking to shoot. It was actually a fight that ended up at a Mexican restaurant around the area, and I was just so happened to be running around, fucking around, excuse my language, with a friend. We were running around, just joking around, having fun, and all of a sudden he goes, Kenzie's like, I think you started your period. And I said, what? And he said that I had red all over the back of my, my ass and stuff. And I said, what are you talking about? He's like, you got blood on your ass. And I was like, what? I said, no, that just came like 2 weeks ago. And my adrenaline had came down. Well, what happened was a fight, broke out at the bar, and then all of a sudden you heard gunshots. And we were just messing around, had music going on and everything. We didn't even really realize what was going on. But I had gotten shot in the process of all that happening. Not only did I got shot at the top of my ass crack, but I also got shot down right here underneath my boob on top of it. So I always say it's kind of a freak accident because of the areas that I got shot in as well. So, but stuff like that does not just happen any and every day. This is real street life out here. This is not, it's not anything like, you might hear me laughing, but that's just because I try to stay, I try to get the upside of things, and I know that might sound effed up to a lot of people, but I think that's the only thing that keeps me going and keeps me getting through the day is I tend to take a lot of things that are actually really negative and turning them positive, which a lot of people find really messed up, but it's how I get through my day. You know what I'm saying?
That's actually a gift, because it's so difficult to stay positive when you're in such a negative environment. That to be able to control that, I think that's a key thing. Absolutely.
And that's another thing too, is like if I tend to get negative and stay negative and don't do what I do, like how I do it, like I could have probably off myself by now or done something really stupid, or even more stupid that I've already been doing or have done. And I've never ever actually thought about committing suicide or anything like that until literally like Probably in the last like few months is the first time I ever thought about. I have not thought about it since after meeting the guy that I've been with and stuff, and him showing me like, hey, like you're not the only one out here doing this. Which it's as Captain Obvious, you should already know this. Right. But you know, everybody's out here for a whole different reasons, and their the reason that brought them to this life, everybody's is different. Yeah, you know, the reason people are on drugs, everybody's reason is different. You know what I mean? It could be depression, it could be something that happened, whatever it is. You know, in my case, there was a couple different things. One, my dad, he passed away unexpectedly. You know, the doctor said he had 8 months to a year and a half to live. He passed away 3 weeks later. I literally, when I say it very lightly, damn near strangled the doctor because I was not happy because you gave us false hope, asshole. You shouldn't do that. You cannot play God. You are not God. And even though we were gullible enough to believe you, thinking that you knew what the hell you were talking about, we shouldn't have, because I would have taken the time to take off and away from my job in Green Bay to take the 2.5, 3 hour drive to go home and let my children hang out with their grandfather. You know what I mean? Their Jaja, Polish for grandfather. So
what I'm sorry not to cut you.
No, you're good. I know you gotta be doing all the questions here, or like I said, I'll keep
so
talking.
It's all good. So what is your drug of choice?
So I've always been a downer type person. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie. And I don't even like really putting this on there in case a family member sees it, but eventually at their point they're gonna figure it out. But I've always been on like painkillers and stuff like that. I was actually prescribed a Norco 1000s years ago, right after I had my son. My son's about to turn 11 actually. Okay. And when I had my epidural, it was a failed epidural, and it like leaked in my spine. Long story short, I got prescribed onto these painkillers because I was having some weird ass pains that go strikingly up my spine. Yeah. My spine also goes like this and does this little curve thing, so that could have part of it too. But long story short, I was on painkillers for a long time. When I moved to Green Bay, I mean, this is after being on these painkillers for like 4 years, right? I moved to Green Bay, and they would not let me get back on the painkillers without going through every single thing that I had gone through: acupuncture, chiropractor, physical therapy, all that shit. You know what I mean? And I was like, why do I have to go through 4 to 5 years of stuff that I have in paperwork from the doctor? You know what I mean? But that's when Big Pharma hit and all this shit happened with the painkiller epidemic and this, that, and the other thing. So anyways, they wanted me to do that. Well, I said, forget it. You're going to put me off this cold turkey. I'm going through withdrawal now. Next thing you know, I'm buying my painkillers off the street. Next thing you know, these painkillers are extremely expensive. And now heroin seems to be the easiest and fastest and cheapest way to get my pain down. And that's how I got on heroin. Now, nowadays, heroin isn't even heroin anymore. It's fentanyl or whatever it may be.
So doesn't that give you a level of fear or anxiety of like every time you use that?
So believe it or not, in the last we're going, I think, on 6-7 years of being on this drug. Yeah. And I know it sounds really messed up to say, I tell this to people all the time, but I was at one point in time a very functional heroin addict. Like I said, I had my own place, my own car. I was running 2 businesses, 2 bars I was managing, and then running my own businesses. On top of that, I took care of my freaking kids. My family had no idea I was even on drugs. They thought that I was still smoking pot, and that was it, because I've always smoked pot. I used to grow pot, everything. They literally, because I never let it overpower me.
I get that.
So I would only do enough to get rid of the pain, and that was it. I would never do it to get actually high. It was to get rid of my pain. Well, after a while, your tolerance builds, so on and so forth, and then fentanyl hits or this, that, and the other thing. That part of my life I did scare for because there were a couple close calls I had. I'm happily able to say that in that time, I have only OD'd one time, and that was literally very recently, which was like 2 months ago maybe. And the scary part about it is the fact that little bit of whatever it was, and it was most likely horse tranquilizers, is the newest thing that they're putting in these drugs. But it was about the size of a grain of rice. And no joke, the guy who had put it on my pipe, I tend to speedball because When I came to Milwaukee, I never smoked crack ever. Never. I have before, but it wasn't my thing.
Right.
So somewhere down the line, I ended up jumping that into the mix. Somebody had taught me how to speedball, and it just was just this amazing euphoria that I never had before. So now it's on to both drugs. You know what I'm
now
saying?
you're educating me. What is a speedball?
So a speedball is when you do a upper and a down. Actually, a legitimate speedball apparently is when you do meth and heroin and you shoot it up together. Now, I've never shot up ever in my life. I don't do needles. I don't do meth even. Meth is not... I don't even hang out with people who do meth. It's not my thing. I've seen... Obviously, drugs do a whole work of wonder on a person's image and everything, but the worst I've ever seen is definitely people who are on meth. You know, that can change your image in, like, literally a week and a half, 2 weeks, depending on how you're doing it. Like, I've seen it. And it is ridiculous. And not only that, but it's not even drugs. It is the stuff that you find underneath your sink cupboard, or, you know what I mean? The stuff you are putting in your toilet, people. And I'm not saying that makes me any better by smoking crack or doing heroin by any means, but I'm just saying that I would rather do, like, you know, heroin comes from a poppy plant, you know, cocaine comes from the coke, you know what I mean? So it's like marijuana has their own plant, but meth is not on their own plant. You know what I'm saying? It's chemicals, that are drastically messing the shit up on people. So anyways, that apparently is what I have been told is the actual legitimate way. But how I do mine is crack and heroin together, and I smoke it. I used to snort heroin and then smoke crack, but then somebody once showed me how to do both on the pipe at once, and it's a whole different buzz. It's just a completely different buzz. Now, like, it's just different. It all kind of depends on what you like. Now, luckily in my case, I am trying to get my shit together. My man and I are trying to have a May 1st deadline to get the heck out of here and get back north, or at least try to head that way back north. I want to make it back to my son's birthday on May 9th. I don't want to lose another one, but I officially I've gone from doing 2.5 grams of heroin as of last year around this time. And I'm down to like literally a dub a day, which is about $20 worth a day. So I'm gradually getting off of it. Honestly, I feel like if I got off crack altogether, mostly crack is, I think, what really, really got me in the very, very wrong direction. Because like I said, when I say like I was a functioning addict, I was like that for years. Like, I'm talking 4 years I was like that, where I was managing, and nobody had any idea that I was even on them type of drugs. They thought I was just high a pot, or, you know what I mean?
So does your male friend, he uses as well?
Yes. But we're both gradually, you know, working together. We love the shit out of each other. Actually, it's funny because everybody says he's the male version of me, and I'm the male version. I'm a very comedic, very funny person. Like, I've never met anyone like him that I literally have such a great connection with, especially anyone who tries to take a girl off of the streets.
I think that's,
you know, I've been with so many guys since I've been out here, which isn't normally my thing. I'm not really the type that goes in and out of dating, but when you have that drug lifestyle and you're out on the streets, it's always nice to have somebody to be with at all times. I can tell you how many relationships I've been with, and I'm just like, that wasn't even really, it was just basically based off drugs.
Okay, so before you met this gentleman, have there been some really bad experiences or situation with guys who may ask for your services?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've had horrible experiences. Last summer alone, I had a guy pick me up. This is a crazy experience, actually, so I'm going to tell you the whole way through. I'm going to try to be as quick as possible. But I was over on Lisbon. Somebody had introduced, a guy I was with had introduced me over there. And when we had broke apart, I still ended up staying over there. I met some really good people over there, and then I found at the same time that as a white female, you can make some hella good cash over there. I'm not going to lie. I was getting 80, 100, 150 over there, and that's not, I'm not going to lie, very, very rare on the street. So anyways, long story short, this guy picked me up in this white Malibu tinted windows, and it was later at night. He had one of them damn shiesty masks on. Now, most people would say, why in the world would you get in the car with somebody with one of those masks on? Well, see, out here in this lifestyle, it's something that's kind of at this point in time, a lot of people are used to seeing the shiesty mask being put on. So I didn't think anything of it, and like I hadn't had that many bad experiences, and I wasn't like, sometimes you just, if you really need that money or whatever buzz, or if you need that hotel room and it's cold out and you need to be in, you don't really think too much about what's going on. You just kind of take the challenge. I usually have a knife on me, pepper spray, whatever it may be. Long story short, we would go park, and he goes, I went to say, I said, okay, I'm ready to go when you are. I just need that, I don't know if it was I think I literally, he legitimately lowballed the crap out of me, but when it's cold at night like that, sometimes you just take what you gotta take, you know what I'm saying? Just to get that little bit of heat in your car, you're grateful for just that with the dub, you know what I mean? So normally I don't really go that low, but anyways, so I said, I just need your money and we can go from there. I went to go turn around and I had a Glock right to my head. And I was just like, oh God, you know what I mean? And he said, listen, I'm not paying you shit. I said, one of these bitches out here fucked me over $80. And he's like, and guess what? You're paying the consequences for it. And I was like, you have got to be shitting me. I'm sitting there, I'm looking at this guy straight dead in the eye. And I said, listen, I am going to do exactly what you're asking me to do, but you're going to listen to what I have to say first. I did not budge. I did not cry. I did not nothing. I don't even know what was going on. I must have been really freaking high for me to be that legitimate right there. But I said to him, listen, I hope to God that one day in this near future or future of yours, you don't have a daughter, sister, mother, auntie, anybody that you freaking love to death that's a female that has to come out here and work like this or do this or make money like this. I said, I hope to God you don't ever have to have somebody in your family do this, because I hope to God that this very instance that you are putting on me right now doesn't happen to somebody that you love.
Right, definitely.
And I said, whatever it may be for your reason for doing what you're doing, whether this girl took off with your $80, which, by the way, I wish you would just tell me who the person was or show her out to me, because I would personally like to kick her ass for me having to deal with this situation right now, and for the fact that you should never run off with somebody's money off the street if it's $80, because, like I said, it's rare.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not you. Exactly. And now you're almost getting me killed. I said to him, but I'm the type of person that if you would have just asked and said, listen, I'm having a bad day, my wife cheated on me, my brother-in-law died, whatever the case may be, you could have just sat there and said, listen, I'm having a bad day, I don't have the money, can you help a brother out? And depending on my state of mind at the time, I could have said yes, I could have said no even, but you could have at least asked first. And I would rather somebody had asked than have to turn around and have a gun pointed to their head. Anyways, I did what I was supposed to do, and I didn't even have him bring me back, and I remember he had, for some reason, parked pretty rare, somewhat far, but I was like, I don't even want you to give me a ride back, I'm out of here. And I just jumped off and walked away. Now, about 3 months later, right, the same car is rolling around and I'm on Lisbon, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you never know if it's the same car because it was a white Malibu with tint. That's a common car. So I apologize, I'm trying to be fast with this story, but I'm almost done though. But this car, I ignored this car so many times, right? And eventually he finally got my attention by throwing money out the window, and he's like, listen, why do you keep ignoring me? Well, I said, long story short, I'm going to tell you what happened this way. I don't know if that you were the guy or not, but this is why I'm not getting in your car. And he's like, well, there, I got $60 right here, this is yours. And I'm like, oh God, I'm like, why am I regretting doing this right now, right? For some reason, something in my heart was telling me, just get in the damn car, okay? So I got in the car, as most people wouldn't have gotten in the car, regardless if the guy is $60 or not, right? But I got in the car. Come to find out, he was the guy, parked at the same exact spot that he had brought before. And I'm like, oh my Lord, you know what I mean? So basically, this guy, when he had turned around, was legitimately in tears. And he said, listen, he's like, you have haunted my freaking dreams or nightmares or whatever it is since the day that you said to me what you said to me. Apparently, he had 2 younger daughters. One was about to be a teenager, and the one was like damn near almost going into college. Around the age where some of these girls are now starting to doing drugs and experimenting and all that shit. So when I said what I said to him about having a daughter, sister, cousin, mother, whatever it may be, having to come out here and do this, that definitely hit him at the heart. And he said, listen, he's like, this is the 60 I told you I had. Here's another $100. He said, I know that this is not going to make up for the trauma that I have caused in your life, but this is all I can do. He's like, please forgive me for what I did. You have given me a huge eye-opening, and I would never do this to somebody ever again. And then the guy had the audacity to ask me to suck his dick, and I said, absolutely not. I got out of the car, and I got the fuck out of there. I was like, better luck next time, buddy. I'm out of here. But no, you know, then one more thing that he did say to me, though, is he said, you know what? I will give you credit on this, girl. He said, as a white female out here, you have got some freaking balls. And I said, why you say that? He's like, because I put that gun right to your head, and not once did you shake. You did not cry. You did not scream. You did not do anything. You looked me dead straight in the eye and said what you had to say. And which is one of the reasons why you have haunted my freaking dreams or nightmares or whatever you want to call them at night. He's like, my wife had to go buy me a dream catcher. And I couldn't even tell her why this was happening. You know what I'm saying?
That, to actually be out here, you gotta have a level of heart.
And that's the part that scares me the most, is the fact that it did not fucking faze me. It did not faze me at all. Like that gun should have fazed me in some way, shape, or form, but it didn't at all. You know what I mean? But it just shows you the level that Milwaukee has literally put me in, the state of mind, and the, you know, the what this place can do to a person. You know, right now
fuck up your whole mind state, man. You know, it gives you courage, and
I call it the Bermuda Triangle right now, because I'm having the hardest time leaving it, and I don't even know why. I hate it here. And I highly believe that my man that I'm with now is definitely going to be my way of getting out of here. I love that guy to death, and I really, like, right now, basically, our fighting is only based on drugs. Our fighting is only based on the jealous people out here that see the relationship and the type of relationship that we are able to have out here that they're not able to have. And I hate to say that about people out here, but misery loves company. And it is amazing how people can talk so much when they see you happy.
Yeah, so I would advise you and your mate to find distance from this shit, because ultimately you guys can detox together and sort of depend on one another when you go through these the sicknesses and the withdrawal and all that bullshit. But at the same time, you can be helpful to do different things. Like, I'm gonna force you not to go on that end, you force me not to go on that end. When we get to feeling fucked up, let's go and entertain ourselves with, I don't know, let's start stuffing food down our fucking throats. Let's running back and forth through the park, whatever the fuck we gotta do. But at the same time, we're gonna encourage each other by not turning back. You know what I mean? So when you say these guys out here, like, so what type of price point would you give these guys? Like, if a guy wants to have oral sex with you, what would you charge a guy for that?
So what I normally do is, on the street-wise, because I used to be online too, and I would rather be online 100%. I actually finally just got a phone back again, which, by the way, holding a phone out here is the most ridiculous thing ever in the world, because you cannot. You cannot do it unless you put it on a lanyard and stick that thing right in your arm or something, because it's somebody's going to steal it eventually, especially if you do drugs. But anyway, so when you are on the street, like, what I do is, most common, a lot of people are really going to try to lowball you at $20, $30, you know what I'm saying? But I always try to stay firm with, like, I'm not going to lie, do base it on what they're driving, how they look, presentable, stuff like that. Like, I'm going to really shoot high. If I see some guy coming up in a Range Rover looking nice and shit, I might shoot up for even $80, $100 just to see what he says. You know what I mean? Because I'll get lucky once in a while, you know what I mean? But the average person down here, I'll say, listen, this is what I try to do. I try to get as close to $40 as I possibly can, or I try to get as close to $50 as I possibly can. And then I just let them go from there. You know what I mean? Most of them will be like, I got it. I got you. Or they'll be like, I have 30, and then by the end of when I'm done, they'll be like, all right, well, here's the rest of it because you did, thank you for being the way I am. Then another thing too is I don't treat people how people treat people. I don't call people tricks or johns or whatever the hell people be calling them. I actually like to get to know a person. As you can tell, I do know how to talk. I do know how to use my words in my mouth. Hooked on phonics really worked for me, I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, no, I really like, long and try to, I would rather be able to like introduce myself and like be talking with somebody and vibing with somebody than having some awkward ass experience with somebody. I'm not gonna lie, even by talking with people, I've even had guys like literally like be like, you know what, I don't even want to date you anymore, like can we just be friends and like hang out once in a while? And I'll be like, listen motherfucker, this is a no 100% no refund, so you are not gonna get your money back, but yeah, we can be friends. Do you still want me to do what you want me to do, or are we just gonna be friends? But like if they were trying to like do dope or whatever shit like that, I'll go buy a bag and I'll just smoke it with them. You know what I mean? So that they're not losing 100% on their money. You know what I mean? Because that's just how I am. I do have a good heart. I was raised in a good town. Milwaukee has effed me up for life, but you know what I mean? It's just kind of hard in my shell a little bit more is what it's done. You know what I mean? A lot of people took my kindness for weakness, and that's basically what it is. And they just, Milwaukee hardened me up a little bit. Even more than Detroit. People, even more than Detroit and Flint did, Milwaukee definitely hardened my shell. I will tell you that.
So if your price point for, I guess, here will be like maybe 30 and up, what if they want to have intercourse? Is that
honestly, I usually do around the same thing for like everything, man, because a lot of people, they will pull off on you if you go too high, and they'll do, you know what I mean? Some people even like if you lowball and they'll pull off on you. It all kind of depends. Like I said, I kind of just really go by like how they're looking presentable, but otherwise I just do 40 all around with like, or 60 all around for everything. You know what I mean? Like that'll be like head and intercourse, and that's it. I don't do all that anal stuff. I got a lot of medical problems going on with that right now that I'm dealing with, so that's just been off the table. Not really been my thing in the first place, but so we do have a lot going on right now. So
what can be like what's a good lucrative day? Like how much can you make in a day?
So I'm not gonna lie, because I've cut down a lot. I only do my one and done for the day. Okay. I've really cut down a lot, honestly, to the point where I don't even really try to be out here at all. My man actually, he tries to take care of me as much as he can. He doesn't even want me out here, period. And I respect that a lot, and I respect his decision. Honestly, I try not even to be out here. Like last night, I didn't come out at all. You know what I mean? So, but in the past, what I've done, there's been times where I've come home with like $200-$300, you know what I mean? So now online though, I can get $100 for 15 minutes off one person. You know what I mean? So that's why online's been even better. Like I'm even trying another reason I'm trying to get kind of more north or even towards Green Bay and stuff. I have this guy in Green Bay that used to pay me and my ex just to watch us have sex for $1,600 for 30 minutes. Wow. And I'm trying to get closer there because I'm like, guess what, babe? If you don't want me to do this, this is what we're doing now. We've even thought about starting like an OnlyFans or something like that, just to do some side stuff instead of doing all this stuff.
Because watch other people.
And they really do.
Maybe make videos.
It's like live porn now is what it is. It's like live porn. So people are really getting into that stuff now. And I would rather do that than do this and be screwing a safe environment with someone you like. Random people, versus the man you're in love with. I think I'll take the random people. I'm just kidding.
No, I get it.
Sorry, babe. No, that's just how we are. He would have done the same thing. But yeah, but other than that, it's been crazy. It's been
okay. So
here.
I can honestly say you've been, really, really open.
Yeah, I tend to hear that a lot.
Not that way.
You're gonna get
open conversation.
Lots of hits on this. I'm gonna have to leave you my number. You're gonna be calling me back.
I would love to, because people want to update. They want to know how you're doing.
You're gonna get me on some Dr. Phil shit or something.
Let's do it. That's what I'm talking about.
We're gonna put us all on there.
It can happen.
Yeah, it definitely could, but we're gonna skyrocket your numbers here, because once I get home and stuff too, once I get kind of past that one, stage with everyone, I'll definitely when I get back on Facebook, I'll go look on this for this video and share it up there too. You know, I got my people up there too that are probably gonna be pretty interested in what I had to say and where the hell I've been, since everybody thinks I'm missing. Even though I told them all about the area I was gonna be in. But I guess that's what happens when you don't call home. So I apologize to all my family and friends out there, especially my kids. And I'm not gonna get emotional right now, so we're just gonna leave it at that. But yeah. So other than that, no, I appreciate you. Thanks for picking me up, and for different reasons than most.
I get that. So,
it was a nice reason to do it.
Right. Nice meeting you. I appreciate you giving me your time, because that's something we can't get back. I appreciate you being open and honest with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the viewers do learn a lot of information just through your walk of life.
Right.
And I think it's really helpful that maybe some girl who's out here who just tastes heroin for the first time, or just starting to use her body to get money, she runs across this video and she can start to see that the experiences in the end is not worth it.
Right. I could show somebody to a person that's just getting ready to do heroin that might actually turn their way again. I don't know if you want me to show it. It's pretty gross. It looks like a zombie bite.
Yeah, what is it?
You want to see it?
Sure.
You want me to show it online? Okay. So I'm not sure. So I got to go in for it today. Don't worry, it's not MRSA or anything like that. It's not anything contagious, because if it was, my man would have it already. But apparently, and I've heard this from a couple people that have it through the streets right now, it's not from it being contagious, because I don't know any of these people. These people are all random. I've seen, and all the ones that I've seen are all pictures. I've never actually personally seen it on a person, right? Okay. So we are finding out which... I am going to the doctor tonight with my man, actually, because we have to get the antibiotics, right? So, if anything, I'll let you open your door, too, if you're kind of still a little weary about my hand being on here. But that's why I have this. I have to redo the bandage, because I have been out all night. So, this is what apparently they are putting in the heroin and crack nowadays out here. And this is another reason that I'm trying to personally get off the shit myself, and my man as well. Because when we found out about this, and I tell you not... when this started happening to my arm, I didn't know what was going on. I thought I legitimately got bit by a damn zombie, is what I am. And it is very, very gross, so I excuse myself right now, but don't be weary here. But this is definitely going to probably help a lot of people, like, stay away from this stuff. So it's very, very... like I said, I'll let you open the door when I come out. I have to go change and I'm not a gross person. I do change these things, by the way. It's just I haven't been home yet. So, but look at this. This is what is being put in the dope right now. Mostly heroin. Wow. And this is only like 3 days, like two and a half days. And look at my tattoo. I am completely devastated. But mostly my arm. And this wrapping got changed last night. Like I said, it is kind of later in the day now, but that's just because I haven't seen my man yet. He's the only other person that I'll let touch it right now until we go to the hospital. I see you kind of move back a little bit, but
no, because I'm making sure
you're not getting the video. But I know this is gonna help people they're gonna see this, and they're definitely it's gonna change your mind. I mean, you can I don't know if you can spell. I hope you can't, because I don't want to touch your door, but still, like I said, it's not MRSA or anything like this. What I hear is that and actually mine is healing up just like pretty damn good. Okay. So, luckily my guy knows a little bit about medical stuff from other people that he's been around and stuff. That's where I was headed, was to go get this swabbed, because I was like, I gotta get this changed out, because it is bad. But this is literally from last night. Right. So, I mean, I was on the boat and we were in a tent as well, so that doesn't help either. But yeah, that people right there is gonna show you, like, it's some serious stuff out here that a lot of people are putting in their dope and stuff. Like, you don't know what you're getting put in your dope. I've had, like I said, I've OD'd in the first time in 6-7 years that I've been on this stuff. Also, I've had horse tranquilizers, and that I think is one of the things that possibly is called trank, maybe. Yeah. I can't think if that's actually the one thing, but yeah, people are putting whatever they can in their dope, and it's scary. It's not even real dope almost anymore. Like I said, I don't screw with meth heads or do meth, but heroin and crack are on their way to becoming meth. It really is. It's not even the same as it used to be. Ecstasy isn't the same as it used to be at all. It's crazy, because, and I can't say much, because even though I'm telling you this, I'm still going to leave this car and probably go hit a pipe as soon as I get out of here just to deal with the pain of this. You know what I mean? Luckily, the pain's finally going away. You know, I've been past that part. But when he goes to... Here, are you sweating from looking at it? It's crazy, though, right? And I hate to die. I feel bad. I did that in your car. I hope that's... Like, just keep in mind, you're not going to... Like I said, I'll let you open the door just to make sure you're good. But I just wanted to make sure that y'all seen that because it is very, very scary. Like, I literally thought that there could be still a chance that I could lose my arm over this. You know what I mean? I really don't think I am because, like I said, that it already looks better than it did in the 2.5 days that I had it. But still, you know, look at what that did. Like, you should have saw it at first because of how many colors were in my tattoo. The amount of color that was in it. That's what really, like, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't thinking about it being the ink. But that can't also be good to mix with a wound like that. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I apologize for opening that in your car.
I appreciate you.
I just wanted to make sure, like, that's why. Need to see this. That's why I said, hey, do you want to see something? I try to keep
shock value to the user that they understand, and to the viewer that understands how dramatic and how dangerous it is out here.
And this isn't you like staging this shit. No, this is real life. I don't even know this man. Never met this man a day in my life, and he had no clue that I even had that on my arm.
This is true.
When he said that he was doing a video like this, I already had it kind of in my mind that I was gonna say something at the end to pull it out because this is serious. This is huge. And the photographs that I'm seeing of this shit are people that are not taking care of it. Trust me. And I am kicking myself in my own ass for not keeping up with it, as like even just for my bandage to look like that is actually horrible. But if you look at my bag that I have right now, I had to go to the needle exchange to get more gauze and stuff. To get more gauze and vitamin A and D and all that stuff. It's all in my bag right now, right in front of me. Go to the needle exchange over on Cesar Chavez. You can get needles, you can get gauze, you can get personal hygiene, everything, lubricant, condoms, everything, all that stuff for free. For free. It's literally there for your benefit. Like, I mean, for real. I didn't know about it for the longest time, but that's another reason my bandage looks like that is because I'm too busy buying dope or whatever and keeping that in my head to get rid of my depression or anger or feelings or whatever it is. And I get it. I get that all of us have our own personal problems and shit like that. Like I said, you know, like my dad passed, my house burned down, my freaking best friend of 28 years / girlfriend shot herself in the head right in front of me after I broke up with her because she didn't even give me the chance to tell her that I love her, but I have too much going on right now. I needed some time. Those 3 things led me back into the drug life and down here because I couldn't even handle. I left my kids because of that shit. I couldn't live with it. I didn't want them to see me like that. So we all have our own personal problems as to why we are doing drugs and what brought us here and as keeping us here and whoever it is or whatever it is or whatever. You know what I mean? We all have our traumatic events, but it is not worth this. It is not worth losing an arm. Or I've seen girls out here have, like, they're about to lose their legs. I know a girl out here, like I said, I'm not going to use names or anything, that we recently just seen has a hole in her head that has maggots in it. Straight up maggots are coming. I've literally seen the maggots in her head. It's disgusting because at some point in time, I want to say she might have got hit or something and didn't get it, the womb checked or whatever it may be, you know what I mean, to the point where those maggots are going to kill her or put brain damage to her. You can already tell emotionally that they're already doing their job, you know. But these things are real life things that are happening out here. You know what I mean? This is not just some little, you know, you see stuff like intervention and shit like that, and you always be wondering if them, you know, are these stages, they are scripted, you know what I mean? But they are all based on true events. Now this man met me on the street, and we are having a one-on-one conversation that is a real thing that's going on right now in Milwaukee. Yeah. Like, this man is literally out here trying to help people and trying to find, like, you know what I mean? And I probably blew him away with that ending right there. But
it opens more dialogue.
Right, you know what I mean? And I'm probably extending this video a little bit more, but, you know, a lot of people are sitting here, oh, well, you know, she could be reading. I'm not reading shit. I'm not. This is the real deal. This is the bee's knees, item 9. No, but anyways, I'm just letting you know. Like I said, I don't know this man. He doesn't know me. And I appreciate what he's doing out here, because maybe we could have saved maybe, 15, 150, 10,000 people from...
If we just save one.
Right, exactly. From using that needle or trying to experiment or whatever. And you know what I mean? I'm hoping to God that, like, maybe me showing you that and showing, whatever it may be, may stop somebody else. You know what I mean? Okay. From getting there. So it is very important. Like, drugs are not drugs no more. It's beyond that.
Chemical bullshit.
It really is. I mean, when your arm looks like that, it shouldn't look like that. You don't hear. Look for stories from back in the day to ones nowadays.
Right.
And compare, and you know what I mean. It's like what you're reading on. You know what I mean. So, but anyways, I'm going to stop talking so the man can speak.
Yeah, I just want one other thing for you, if you don't mind. If I can get you to look into the camera and tell the viewers to like and subscribe to F.A.C.E Productions.
Yes, please like and subscribe to F.A.C.E Productions off YouTube. I am definitely going to head there on my phone as soon as I get out here, so I can get on there, so I can show, even show my man my video today, so he knows where my $20 came from. I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I appreciate y'all, and please just keep your mind open, and there are other ways to dealing with problems in your life. And I'm not going to sit here and be hypocritical and say don't do drugs. I'm not going to say that, because I'm not a hypocrite. But just second, just think about it. You know what I mean? And you know what? Y'all can find me on here. I will comment myself on there if I need to. And if y'all even want to hit me up, y'all can hit me up if you want somebody to talk to. I'm a very good listener. I may seem like I talk a lot, which I do talk a lot, but I can listen too. So.
Most definitely.
But yeah, definitely like and subscribe to all that. Yeah, you said F.A.C.E Productions. Yeah, F.A.C.E Productions, and check out all these other women out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Appreciate it. Okay, thank y'all for tuning in to F.A.C.E Productions. We'll see y'all again on the next one. Thank you.
She for the street, I ain't chasing her name. I'm stacking my paper, ain't playing no game. These dreams on my ladder, I'm climbing so high. No ties, no lies, just cash in my sky. I need money all day, I stay lit on the grind. The world spins fast, but I'm out of my mind. I'm stuck in this hustle, it's my only creed. No love, no trust, just the life that I lead. Late nights, no rest, I'm chasing the glow. But my fire's still